final trap. We're going to put it up in an ash tree, and I don't know if the ash trees are showing any signs of stress. I mean, ideally it would go into a tree that's maybe showing a little bit of stress, because the stress trees are the ones that are putting out the chemicals that are attractive to the insects. We hope we don't find any here on the fence with whether we may or may not. Right now, Lovell is outside of our existing quarantine area for emerald ash borer, but we did find it this year as close as Bridgeton, which is what, 2 or 3 towns away?
Two.
Okay. And reasonably well infested, from what I understand. So
is it moving north? Is that
north and east, and filling in too. You know, we're finding very much so that the area south of here, where we've known it was, we're finding it in much higher numbers, and in the extreme southern part of the state, Kittery, Lebanon, we're finding very heavy levels in some of the trees down there. So, and we first detected it in I think it's just 2018 in Maine for the first time, and the first detection was actually up north in Madawaska area, and then later that same summer we detected it in I believe it was in Lebanon. So anyway, so this is a green funnel trap. They're attracted to the color as well as to the lure that we will attach to it. This is the lure in here, and we'll do that when we get out there. But this kind of cheapy chintzy thing spreads all out like that, and we'll hoist it up in the tree essentially as high as we can get it. Ideally it would be about 40 feet up. I'm not throwing it that far. And so again, the lure will be attached up here. The insects are attracted to the lure and to the color, and then they essentially funnel down through. And then what we'll do is, this is the trap that attaches down here at the bottom, and some of them are a little wonky, but you can get a different one. So it screws in and locks, and this is all you'll really mess with when you come out and collect the insects. So when you come out and collect the insects, and we can do this out there, this will be up in the tree. You'll have to untie it, lower it down, bring the whole thing down, and just grab it by the cup, because there's going to be some liquid in here that you don't want to get all over yourself, although it's not non-toxic. It's just RV antifreeze. So it's
glycol? Just ethylene glycol.
Antifreeze, yeah. And it's the RV non-toxic type. And there's a little bit of dish soap in there too. But that's what it is. So when you collect it, there will be just a bit of antifreeze in there. Could be that you find that it's filled up a bit more, and there is a drain over here on the side, depending on how much rain we get. God knows we need rain. So, could fill up with water, because the water can get in there. But you pull this off, and what you will do with whatever insects have been collected in here, and the antifreeze is, this is paint filter. You're just going to take and pour that whole thing through. You don't have to collect the antifreeze because it's non-toxic. You can just let it go. But you'll pour that through, let those strain, maybe have a jar or a cup or something you can set that in, and then you will take, because this probably will have some extra junk in it, you will take, this is ethanol, and I ideally would have had a squirt bottle for you to take just a very small of this ethanol and put in the squirt bottle, but we're running on super low on supplies right now, so I'm getting some in the mail next week. I can pop one.
Yeah, we might be able to scrounge some up.
I mean, you can just take it, from your water bottle, whatever. You need to take a small amount. You don't have to use this whole thing. Ideally, this amount of ethanol will actually last you. Ethanol is a regulated substance, so we can't get that much of it. We can only get 3 quarts at a time, otherwise and it, for most of, you know, a single trap, it might take a quart for the whole summer, or actually for, yeah. Anyway, you're just gonna take, and you know, with a squirt bottle, you'd be able to rinse the sides up here, but you know, just try to get the sides up here and collect any other stuff. Again, just then take that and pour that through the filter as well. Then, you know, you can rinse this with water, whatever. You're gonna refill it with your antifreeze substance. Just, again, you know, maybe an inch on the bottom. You're gonna then reattach that to the trap, pull the trap back up into the tree, tie it off, and leave it for the next 2 weeks. With the insects that you've collected in your paint trap, if you have some tweezers, or you can even just take a stick, oftentimes there's debris that gets in to the cup as well. Try to pull any of that out if you can see it. You know, you can toss it around and, you know, try to get the rest of the liquid, pull the debris out, and then all you're gonna do with that is you're gonna take this and with pencil, write the date and the location on the paint filter, fold it up, and then you've got these bags that you then will put your paint filter in, you know, completely. These are sealed, so I'm not gonna open it. Put the whole thing in, and then again, on outside here with Sharpie or pen, you can write then the date and the collection site. Take this home, put it in your freezer, and we'll collect it at the end of the season. Or if you see something, you all know what the emerald ash borer looks like, somewhat. Yeah, okay. Little bit of head shaking. You know, if you see a little green insect that, you know, is size of your thumbnail in length, long, cylindrical, you can certainly, they will be dead. You can pull it out, take pictures, and you can send that to us, or you know, we can have somebody come and collect the samples too and get them back to Augusta. Oftentimes with the pictures, we're not able to completely identify it with 100% certainty. So having the sample in hand, we can have one of our entomologists take a look at it.
So, I'm sorry, so you'll be collecting, I mean, there'll be insects other than ash borers in this?
Very well, could
Okay.
be, yes.
And the idea of the ethanol is to pickle them, is to preserve
The
them?
ethanol is just, it's a preservative that they, and in fact, this is used ethanol. It's not ideal. But again, because it's a regulated substance, we're having a difficult time getting enough of it for the amount of traps that we have out, and we use it for all insects. Some of the insects that we're looking for are you know, less easy for our staff to identify, so we often have to send them off to federal labs, and that's where we have to use the clean ethanol for, and we, you know, that's when we would put it in a little jar and put the insect in the jar with the ethanol to preserve it. It's just really to clean it out, and it's what the entomologists want us to use. I was going to go to Walmart or, you know, the drugstore and just get some isopropyl alcohol, and they told me not to do that because isopropyl can apparently discolor some of the insects, and they don't want that. So yeah, it's not really for preservative. The preservative is just the fact that they're in the antifreeze, and you've used the ethanol, you know, to limit any further damage, and then you put it in the freezer, just keeping it cold.
But they're not, they just examining for identification, or is there something else that they're into?
Identification, yeah. And I mean, they're looking specifically for the emerald ash borer with these traps. I mean, if we found something else that was of concern, of course we'd let you know, but that's what we're looking for with these traps. And these are pretty sensitive. The reason we don't use more of them is because they do require the trap collection every 2 weeks, and it's more labor intensive than the purple prism traps that you've probably seen hanging in the trees in other places. Those are the type of trap that they're coated with a super sticky substance. You don't want to come into contact with it, and that again is attractive to the insects, and the insects land on that and just get stuck. So we don't have to go out and collect them every 2 weeks. They put them out and they collect them at the end of the season. So I'm going to leave most of this here. We'll take the trap, the rope, the antifreeze, and the lure out, and go get this set up. Yeah, it's coming out of the birch, but I honestly don't think that's a big deal with the two of them so close together. Try to keep this. I'm gonna give you some more slack here.
That could do some damage.
Yeah, I saw someone put one through a window once.
We don't have any windows here, so that's good.
You have a few heads though.
Yes, we do. Well, the last time I didn't have an actual throw bag either. I just had a bag of sand. And this bag of sand got punctured, and it was the sand that hit me in the face.
Whoa!
All right. Yeah.
That's pretty darn good.
Tie the anchor. We can either tie off on this tree, or we can tie off on another tree. Either way, doesn't matter. But we want to make sure when we do this that we have enough that folks aren't going to lose this back up in the tree, I guess. Right?
So is that what's the sock for? Is that like?
It's just to weight it.
Oh, okay.
There's a rock in there.
That is the anchor.
Yeah, I have to take my bag. That's where another thing that
we're going to tie it off to the tree.
We are, but we're keeping it just, because you don't want to lose the rope up there. Gives it a little weight. Given what we just been through, right? So let's come through a bit, and we'll give ourselves lots of slack. If we're able to. On that one, that's not a big deal. The one, that maple branch.
Yep.
I mean, it could end up that it causes it to get caught. What we'll do is we tie off in two different directions so that it doesn't whip around itself. Because if you just tied off on this tree, or even a tree close by to it, it in the wind can whip around and as we've witnessed, you can get a fair bit of friction and some movement, so that it makes it difficult to actually get it back down. So you end up having to cut stuff and throw other stuff up there. So I think we're good enough here. And you get another one of these to take home with you. And do it again, if you want it still.
Well,
Where was the other location?
Well, I was thinking on Horseshoe Pond Road, we have property that abuts the National Forest.
And is that also in Lovell? Or?
Yeah.
But it's kind of on
It's in like
another part of town.
Yeah, it's north of Teethar Lake, northwest Lovell.
Okay, that would.
So if you think that's a suitable spot, that might just be too far away.
for your volunteers?
No,
or-
no, just for your like research purposes.
No.
Okay.
I don't think at this point anything's too far away. I mean, I've got one in my backyard, in Augusta, so it's definitely not too far away. We don't say no to volunteers.
Right.
So this is the lure. Can actually smell it. It smells like kind of green leaves.
Oh yeah, it does. What exactly is that comprised of?
It's, I think in this case, the pheromone is like essentially ash leaf
Okay.
essence, yeah. And particularly stressed ash. You know, in a lot of cases, pheromones would be the chemicals that the female releases to attract the male, but I believe in this case, this is just a composition of the chemicals from the ash tree itself. So what will happen with this stays up, it can stay up for 6 weeks with this lure. And if we don't find anything in the next 6 weeks and you want to continue to monitor, I will come out and
Okay.
change the lure, or, I mean, it's very simple, so if you want, I can just send it to you. The lures do need to be kept refrigerated as much as possible. So then from here, we're going to tie off. We're going to take another section of rope. So if you want to start that before we hoist it up, we'll tie off just on one of these tines down here. And I would suggest we'll tie off this side on this dead pine tree over here, and then maybe on this sad little oak right here, to give us the two opposing directions, limit the spin. Spilling. It's wet now. Probably good.